Met my wife through a mutual friend. I've never second guessed it. We've been together almost 10 years, and we have never had a fight, an argument, a raised voice, or a harsh word said to one
In
another.
10 years?
I was like, if I'm going to have a kid, this is the person that I would want to have it with. I talk about them because there are obviously the hugest parts of my life, the best parts of my life, the best decisions I've ever made.
It was July 20th, 2025, Cocos Beach, Costa Rica, a stretch of golden sand kissed by turquoise waves and framed by a sky so flawless it looked painted. But behind this postcard, beauty hides a deadly secret. Locals have another name for it, the beauty that kills. This place is feared for its brutal rip currents, strong enough to drag even the best swimmers under in seconds.
This is the beach where all this unfolded, but really, as soon as you get here, even before you get onto the beachhead, you can see some warning signs for people who are coming to enjoy the day here. It says, Corrientes de Resaca todo el año. Basically warning people there is a current here throughout the year. You can see there are warnings for surfers, there's warnings about wave conditions, and then take a look at this massive sign says you can survive a rip current. Clearly, they're warning people about the conditions that can develop, and unfortunately, the conditions appear to have pulled out Malcolm-Jamal Warner over the weekend.
That afternoon, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the man America grew up watching as Theo Huxtable, stepped into those waters. Just 45 minutes later, paramedics were on the shore. And then they stopped trying. The official cause? Accidental drowning, but the streets are buzzing with another version. And depending on who you ask, it's a whole different story. Why would Warner, a guy his friends swear was almost paranoid about safety, walk straight into one of the most dangerous beaches in the Caribbean?
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having. And I knew that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it, because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and warm, and soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity and certain understanding of male-female dynamics. And with a girl, all of that starts with the father. So I've always, since I literally pulled her.
And why are there quiet murmurs about strange tensions just days before it all went down? To piece together his last moments, you have to know the life he lived and the shadows he kept hidden. Malcolm-Jamal Warner came into the world on August 18th, 1970, in Jersey City, New Jersey. He was the only child of Pamela Warner, a fierce single mom who doubled as his manager. She fought bad deals, kept Hollywood predators far away, and protected him from fame's darker side. But friends say her shield came at a price. He learned early to guard his private life like a locked vault. By the time he was 14, Malcolm-Jamal Warner had scored the role that would change everything, Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. For 8 straight years, America watched him bumble through teenage life on screen, chasing grades, learning hard lessons, and flashing that famous, heartwarming smile that became part of TV history.
The reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community.
On set, he wasn't just another kid actor. He was laser-focused, never late, and always on point. Bill Cosby once even said he was the kind of young man I'd want for my own son. But decades later, when Cosby's name became synonymous with scandal, that quote suddenly carried a weight no one saw coming. Warner, though, wasn't riding the wave blindly. By 19, he wasn't just acting. He was directing episodes, learning the cameras, and carving out a career behind the scenes. Sure, some people on set didn't like taking orders from a teenager, but Malcolm didn't flinch. He knew that sitcom fame had an expiration date, and he was already thinking beyond it. Music was his other world, and he owned it. A bass guitar in his hands, spoken word poetry in his voice, he mixed funk, jazz, and raw social commentary. His Grammy-winning work on Jesus Children of America wasn't for show. It was bold, political, and deeply personal, but the music scene could be cruel. One LA jazz promoter swears he saw Warner walk off stage mid-set after a heckler yelled, "Play Theo's theme song." And then there was love.
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having a girl. And I knew that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it, because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and warm, soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity and certain understanding of male-female dynamics. And with a girl, all of that starts with father. So I've always, since I literally pulled her out of my wife.
His first great love, Michelle Thomas, known to millions from Family Matters, passed in 1998 from a rare stomach cancer. Friends say he never fully healed from that loss. Later came actress Karen Melina White, nearly 8 years together, so private that even people working with them every day had no idea until long after. Those close to him say that was no accident. Warner wanted to keep his heart away from the public spotlight. Regina King was a whole different chapter in Malcolm-Jamal Warner's life. This time, the romance was out in the open. Red carpets, public smiles, the works. But then, out of nowhere, it was over. Valentine's Day 2013, the breakup hit like a lightning bolt. Regina dropped a cryptic line in an interview. "You don't end a relationship like that unless you want to send a message."
There should be a moratorium on both of those words in hip-hop, because it's low-lying fruit. It's so easy. Everybody does it to the point that it's corny. Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing and
as much as
every 2 sentences, because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist
that you think it's just too low-hanging fruit for him to use those words.
To this day, fans still debate what she meant. Was it betrayal? A clash over the future? Nobody's ever gotten the full story. By 2017, Warner was a married man again. But this time, the mystery level was off the charts. Officially, she's a Connecticut attorney. But if you believe the gossip blogs, her background is tied to a powerful East Coast family, and their so-called chance meeting at a charity gala might have been more calculated than anyone realized. She reportedly pushed for intense privacy after whispers of unsettling run-ins with obsessive fans. That same year, they welcomed a daughter, her name never once made public. Friends say Warner was the kind of dad who banned screens at home, cooked breakfast with his own hands, and read bedtime stories every single night. Then came Costa Rica, a family getaway that would turn into a nightmare. Reports claim Warner's wife stayed back at their rental while he hit the beach with a friend and his daughter. But then, an anonymous Reddit post popped up, impossible to verify, claiming the couple had been arguing earlier that week. True or not, that rumor spread like wildfire. Coco's Beach was almost eerily still that day. No lifeguards in sight, just a couple of faded warning signs in Spanish and English flapping in the breeze. Warner and his friend waded into the water while his little girl played safely at the shoreline. Minutes later, disaster struck. A rip current snatched the men and dragged them out fast. A local surfer spotted the chaos, scooped the little girl onto his board, and paddled her to safety. By the time rescuers reached Warner, his body was limp.
You long believed to be true, but realized wasn't.
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we didn't.
Now we finally have an update on the drowning death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Now, according to ABC7, they stated that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had drowned while he was on vacation in Costa Rica. Now, the article goes on to say that Warner had drowned off the coast of Costa Rica on Sunday.
Life, it's fragile, and in the blink of an eye.
You never know.
You never know. So speaking of legacy, what do you hope that your legacy is going to be?
There is part of me that I will be able to leave this earth, knowing and people knowing that I was a good person.
I've spent, so much of the early part of my life listening to, being celebrated on one hand, but paying way too much attention to the naysayers.
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions. This sign even giving a roadmap for how to escape a rip current.
Paramedics fought for 45 minutes to bring him back, but the autopsy would confirm what they already feared: drowning by asphyxia. Still, the questions won't go away. Why pick that beach, one of the most dangerous stretches in the region? Did Warner truly understand the risk? Was his friend strong enough to help? Or did panic take over? Could exhaustion from the trip, or even a sudden health crisis, have left him vulnerable in those deadly waves? Conspiracy-minded fans zeroed in on his final Instagram post, a photo holding his daughter's hand with the caption, "Hold tight, sweet family moment," or a cryptic farewell. Hollywood's grief came fast and public. Anthony Mackie called him a beautiful human being. Regina King posted, "Ride in power," with a heart emoji. Raven Simonese shared a silent video of herself crying. Bill Cosby said it felt like burying a son. Across social media, fans filled timelines with Theo Huxtable clips, remembering how he helped shape the warmth of their own family memories. On July 25th, Warner's Not All Hood podcast co-hosts went live with a raw, emotional tribute. They played clips of his deep, unmistakable laugh, his unfiltered stories, and his fierce defense of communities too often boxed in by stereotypes. The live chat blew up with messages of love, heartbreak, and yes, more whispers of what might have really happened that day. Even now, the mystery refuses to fade. Was it truly just a tragic accident? Or is there a hidden chapter we'll never read? Was it bad luck, bad timing, or a choice that went terribly wrong? The ocean may have claimed Malcolm-Jamal Warner, but the questions about his heart, his moves, and his last moments are going to echo for years. If you were drawn into this story, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who remembers Theo Huxtable, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back with another story soon. See you in the next video.